Hello.
Hello.
My name's Ethan.
And my name's Emily.
And this is not the second time we're doing this. Welcome to our podcast, What the Flock. Oh my goodness. This is a podcast about our little yarn shop here in Christchurch, New Zealand, which is also a convenient place to view beautiful construction. Yes. Not construction workers, unfortunately. Boys across the street. Tighten it up. I'm just putting it out there. There is a man with fabulous hair walking around, though. We digress. So, welcome to our podcast about our little yarn shop here in Christchurch, New Zealand. We have knit-alongs on the go, our projects from them to talk about, new yarn that'll be arriving later today, new yarn that we've received from another supplier that's already here, and so many other things to talk to you about. And the noise will continue. It's a beautiful day to be in Christchurch. We also have classes coming up for the first time in forever.
Yeah.
What? So,
this on the web.
no, not that. It's okay. I also just very much got distracted by a man walking past. This is not great. This is going to be one of those podcasts. Okay, hey, let's dig me out of this hole. Emily, what are you working on?
I'm working on my Danish Confection.
Woof.
I accidentally left the pattern here over the weekend.
Yes, you did.
If you saw that. So at the weekend I was working on my test-sided
Perfect.
cardigan. So I've nearly finished the back. I'm trying really hard to get it done and dusted.
Yes.
But this one is what's called the Novice cardigan Mohair edition by Petiteknit. I've done a couple of rounds of increases. To be honest, I don't love how they make like a stripe.
Yes.
But I have some thoughts on what to do about that later. A whole row of knitting two, making one right with mohair held double is not a fun time. But we're getting through it.
What was really interesting is another person is making one of these right now, the wonderful Mary. And Mary showed us by holding hers up to the light how you can see the increases in it no matter what fabric you use. So what's been kind of interesting for me to see is that it's actually slightly less noticeable with the Tvinni than just with the two strands of mohair, which is kind of fascinating.
The Alpaca.
So, yes, you're using Alpaca too.
You can see it in her one as well, like it's in the photos.
Yeah, no, it's...
Should I tell you what my plan is?
Yes, tell the people.
Well, because we all know Emily doesn't really do plain things, and this is quite a plain thing, even though it's in chartreuse.
I can't wait.
So I was thinking I might do some embroidery around the yoke with the same yarn, like so that it's still one color.
Yeah.
So I don't make it too busy, but to help divert because I don't love that.
I would just like to point out so that I don't make it too busy, says the woman wearing a damask rose on plaid print circle skirt.
I don't see the problem.
Right. I mean, I also, let's be clear here, he who only makes matching sets of outfits, like, hello. And yes, everyone, those of you watching from home, I have been contemplating my next project in number 44 to go with this ensemble. Because nothing is quite cutting the mustard.
Are you doing it because we've found a certain something recently? Or?
Well, I mean, I just sent an order into a new company and I'm sitting here and I have a lot of yarn to knit. I've got a lot of samples to pump out and I've been actually really effective at it, I think. But we have a new yarn coming and I just realized that I didn't order anything for myself to knit a sample in. And so I'm thinking I need to go back and adjust that immediately before I go home so that when the yarn arrives, I don't pout for days on end. Not that I've ever done that before.
Never.
Not even one time. I will say though, the thing is, like when the new yarn comes and I do need to knit it in a sample, it does get turned into a sample quite quickly. So there is that. But yeah, I don't cope well if I don't get the new yarn, it turns out. Whoopsie. So I'm actually just doing a tubular cast on for my Danish Confection knit along. I have decided to take inspiration from Petiteknit and then go on my own adventure, because about a third of the way through my plan of just re-engineering the pattern, I realized that one of the things I don't particularly like about this original pattern is the way that the neckline sits when you see it on a man. And it's because it's not going up high enough. Believe it or not, the neckline that she's constructed in the bigger sizes for my body would be too big. So what I've done is I've actually gone back and raised the back of the neck significantly farther because I'm knitting this flat. So I've Yeah, this is the right side. So I've raised the back of the neck significantly farther by working an additional 3 repeats of decreases, and I've just made the back of the neck roughly the smallest size as opposed to the largest size is kind of the best way to look at it. And so I'm going to insert that same neckline shaping on the other side. I also decided when knitting this to make all the way to the top of where the shoulder shaping started, and I think if I stretch this out, Emily, would you mind? Thank you. You can see that you want to knit to the full depth of the body that you want before you start the shaping on a shape like this. So let's hold this up to the camera and try to hide our faces so it'll zoom in on it. So this is with 2 strands of silk mohair and 1 strand of Tvinni. These are all shades of 56. So this is, would you hold that guy? And I'm gonna cover my face and hold up a ball of the mohair to the thing. And I brought a face cover. Ta-da! So this is the mohair. Hopefully I've got this the right way around. We're practicing, everyone. And by the way, thank you to the kind person. I think I wrote a comment. Thank you to the kind person who told us that covering our faces does work for the camera to zoom in. Yes. We really appreciate that sort of constructive feedback. Your polite and engaged feedback that helps us make this better is so, so good.
It does feel really nice, the like weight of it.
Yeah.
Like it's bulky but not
heavy. Yeah, so 2 strands of silk mohair, 1 strand of Tvinni, 56 and 56S on a 5mm needle and 1 color brioche. One of the reasons I wanted to do this flat is it makes 1 color brioche faster, in my opinion, and more even. I really enjoyed the process of making this. I've got everything marked out with markers so that I know how many rows to do on the front for the same effect, which is great. I'm going to knit the fronts significantly longer so they come up and over to the back of the shoulder. So that's what I'm casting on now. And once that's done, the sleeves on this are going to be relatively short because I've given myself about 21 centimeters of positive ease once it's all blocked out.
And is that drop shoulder like your Windy?
Yes, it's a modified drop shoulder, which I could do a bunch of other things to it essentially, but what I've done is instead of it meeting with 2 flat sections the way Windy does and extending outward, I've actually just decided to make some underarm on the front piece so that when I set the sleeve in, it will hopefully take it to kind of a relaxed, easy place. It'll kind of, I think to understand the construction, you have to start making it. And the good news, what I found really fascinating, this is what I found really fascinating, is once I worked out my size and realized that my size was in between 3 different sizes, I'm not kidding, of the pattern that she had written, I realized that to convert this into a men's pattern from the bottom up is actually easier than knitting it the other way. Only because when I did the math for the men's sizing in my sizing table, it basically just like increased by 4 stitches all the way up. And so the shaping and the redoing and the making it fit super easy. Once I got into refining the shape for my body, I realized like this is gonna be such a good fit. And so I am actually gonna invest the time in redrafting the entire thing into a functional pattern because the way I'm doing it actually has very little to do with the original. I'm not even using any stitch counts. And so I've realized that it will actually just be faster if I just write a whole new pattern. So there we go. Ethan's first Danish pattern underway.
I just realized I forgot about one of my finished objects this week.
Oh!
Should I go grab it?
Yes. Tell the people, because I have a finished object and somehow I have another project to discuss. Yikes.
Wow.
Oh, yes. It's so cute.
This is a real tiny one to try and hold up and cover our faces, but
I'm going to cover my face.
I think it's close enough.
Yeah.
So I made, this is the Piper vest by Lisa F. It's a cute little 8-ply vest, but I used her 4-ply, the Eternity, with a silk mohair to make this fluffy little number. And I had a perfect matching button because we might have had a sample of a new mohair, and I was like, what can I make that's small? And then I thought of this. And
do you want to tell people about the new mohair a little bit, just to start prepping their engines?
What can I tell them?
Oh.
It was this color. which is like a dusky purple. And I used it with Primrose from Petiteknit, which is like a...
And it may or may not be
pink.
coming from some friends of ours in France. I think we can... And yeah, it's definitely... Now that I know that's what caused this, it has suddenly jumped up on the list of yarn that I require in the shop sooner rather than later, right?
I think more is more with the mohair.
Yeah.
I think we're all obsessed. Everyone at Knit Night is just like, everything should be mohair. I'm like, I don't disagree. I've literally been wearing, not that it's mohair, but my boucle jumper, I've literally been wearing it like all week. So if you've seen me this week, I was probably wearing the same jumper every day. But it's really warm and soft and nice.
I support you. So Ethan is also in a everything must be mohair place. What's really nice is there are no balls of yarn attached to this right now. So I got the 2 fronts done. The pattern, as always, leaves a lot of room for exploration and interpretation. So
What is the pattern again?
This is London by Helga Isager, and this is done with 1 strand of Jensen in number 10 and 1 strand of silk mohair in number 11, and it's hideous. It's so ugly. I can't believe I've brought this to show all of you, and I'm so sorry. I am obsessed. Like, and you know what? This is a really good time for Ethan's annual reminder that sometimes he's wrong. So,
we love mohair.
yeah, I think that honestly, let's just do it now. Let's just do a big chat. So I'm gonna hold this up so that people can see it. Hopefully I've hidden us. Ooh, reverse stockinette is the side that's going out, so this is the right side. I'm loving knitting this. I finished the front and 1 shoulder last night, essentially. I'm almost through and I finished the other front this morning. I did have to redo all the short rows on the one side because someone interpreted the pattern one way and then counted and went, I think we need some more stitches, but we found them and it all worked out. But yeah, I'm gonna take this as my annual chance to sit here and look at all of you through this camera and go, sometimes I am wrong. Many, many moons ago, I gave the Holding Silk Mohair with 17 other things the good old try. I really did, and I had a really negative experience with a yarn that we don't stock, Rowan Kid Silk Haze. I've been told in the past when this happened that it was the generation of Kid Silk Haze from other more experienced knitters, this was not my own opinion, that the yarn had changed over time and it wasn't quite as soft as it previously was. Now, I don't know this for a fact because I never worked with it when it was quote unquote good, or so I used to get told in North America all the time, but I do know that it really put me off mohair. Then I had some really negative experiences with possum yarn shedding all over me. And my fluff tolerance was pretty low, y'all. I just wasn't into it. The only fluff I've ever really enjoyed working with until this silk mohair was a brushed suri from a company that no longer makes it.
Suri?
Yeah. Shibubu.
I saw in a Facebook group some random lady had gone into like a thrift store and bought a bunch of shibui for like $1 a skein. And she was like, what shall I make? And everyone was like, oh my God.
If you have shibui in your stash, ladies and gentlemen, you fucking hold on to that. So, yeah, but I must admit, the Danes have got mohair figured out, and so do the French, it turns out. So maybe do many people. So we are going on a long-term, excited exploration of mohair. And if that's not for you, that's okay. Because we have lots of other great stuff coming in that I'm honestly equally excited about. Which, I guess before I start doing my new thing, brings me to my finished object that is blocked. Ta-da! Now, I have a Calypso too, and it's gonna fit me for approximately 5 minutes.
Can you just like cut it up the back and like pin it to you?
I think we're gonna have to do it to the sleeves.
Okay.
So I went up 2 sizes from the recommended pattern size. Now, let's be very blunt about how this pattern works and why this didn't work for me and how this is not the design's fault. So number 1, this is not user error or design error. This is a reality of drafting patterns for men and women's bodies. My biceps, in compared to my bust measurement, are significantly larger at my bust measurement than it would be on a female body. Now, I would say that most males with my chest measurement probably actually have smaller biceps than I do, so you probably won't find this problem because I do a lot of stuff on my hands. I handstand walk a lot, I do a lot of handstand push-ups and a lot of pull-ups, and so I've got really big biceps in comparative terms. And that's why I had to make some modifications. So I went up to—
Because it's a round yoke, right? So this and this are
one big piece. So a really hot tip for sizing these sorts of patterns for male bodies and for female bodies is the thing I was the most concerned about was whether or not this would fit my shoulders. So I took the sleeve stitches and the body stitches, I added their total together so that I knew what the total circumference of the yoke would be. Then I measured my shoulders, and then I picked the size that most closely corresponded to my shoulders and my arm would fit in. And I added about 10 centimeters of positive ease, so I ended up in size 5 instead of size 3. I used Ghost Ranch in a yarn that is gonna be here sooner than we know it, Ulysses from Durera Natura. I believe that the pre-order is live online as we speak. So Ulysses is a sport weight, 100% wool yarn. So while we are full force obsessed with mohair, I am also never not going to be obsessed with woolen spun yarn. And this was an absolutely fantastic yarn to knit with. It took 9 days to knit this from beginning to end, and I did a wide sleeve and not 3/4 length. And I loved it. I did make a tiny error in judgment by blocking this myself at home in the middle of the winter instead of sending it to BB's Magic Blocking Floors. And that was a mistake. It took forever to dry, but it's done and I love it. And Alana has made a really great pattern, and I did make 7,000 changes. And honestly, if you would like the full list of my modifications, they're all on videos on the Flock online. So please go head over there to subscribe, because
I thought you were going to say on Ravelry, and I was like, who are you?
I mean, it might be on Ravelry that I made it, because I no longer maintain my Ravelry, so it actually gets updated because somebody else does it and is like, here's the thing he made. Sorry, Kathy. Honestly, I'm just walking, talking admin for other people.
I was going to say as well, I really like how the mohair adds, because of the luster.
Yeah.
This one especially
The
is
mohair
adding
glow. Yeah.
But not the fluff glow, but the color glow.
Yes, I think it's the intensity of the color that gets picked up by the silk core as well, really is what gives that impact. Now, speaking of things of intense color, you have a couple of new things to show people, and then we're gonna go.
Okay, so we had a visit from the lovely
Veronica
from Ed Mayora, and she brought us some new colors.
Yes!
So, should we start with my favorites?
Yes.
I mean, your favorites too.
Yeah.
These. Big Knit!
You're like one of Michael Jackson's babies.
These.
Ta-da!
Disturbing.
I love this. I've decided to turn this whole face covering thing into like a shtick.
So she's dyed a few semi-solids to go with some of the variegated. So we've got some new ones to match, and then we also have new on both. Or
Can I just say how happy that made me?
Yeah.
So Veronica was here, and I nearly screamed with happiness when she told us about this. I'm gonna cover my face just in case. I'm helping.
And lots of them go together,
Yeah. So Veronica's been doing a lot of the hand dyeing side of this herself, and she is doing a spectacular job with it. Not only is the yarn incredible, but her dye work is amazing. I, to her face, have said how impressed I am, and we all know how forthright I am with hand-dyed yarn.
I also accidentally matched my outfit, not even on purpose, with these.
I mean,
I swear it wasn't.
we'll believe it when we see it. We'll believe that was an accident one day.
So these are, I don't know if you know, you probably know more about these than I do. So
those are mohair locks,
that you can use for spinning, felting, doll making hair.
Doll hair. You can also use them as thrums in thrummed knitting. Oh, right. Sorry. That's actually a thing. That's a Canadian thing. I always forget. Thrumming is a really cool technique where you add insulation to something by using unspun wool as a contrast color. So you bend it around the stitches like you do with Rosamene, and then you knit it into place, and you leave it hanging on the inside so it's got like pigtails, and then over time it felts to itself and makes like a felted interior. So you get like a triple layer mitten. Thrummed. Look it up.
Yeah,
I
the
could always make a
colours
pair,
on this are amazing, especially like obviously the pink. And she said that this one is like a neon dye, so that it will glow in the dark.
It'll be UV photoreactive, which is really cool.
And it is so vivid and soft and just delicious.
And this, everyone, is how Emily started her journey.
And I don't
into
even know how to
hand
do
spinning.
any of it, and now I'm obsessed. I was like, I could start with a poodle or a doll of some description.
Oh my god. Should we recreate the poodle land?
I mean, yes.
As like a diorama?
Yes.
Made out of it? Okay. Well,
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled, everybody, for some needle-felted poodles coming right up. And that sounds like a joke, but I'm actually kind of now weirdly into it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know what I was about to say. I was going to say doll, but then I was like, poodle, when I was looking at it.
Well, everyone, just wait for Emily's needle-felted poodle workshop coming to you soon. Now, also, we do have classes coming up. If you are based in Christchurch and would like to see more of me, I don't know why, but we do have classes coming up. So I will be teaching two-handed color work at the end of August or beginning, I don't remember. And I will be teaching...
Oh, beginning.
Beginning. I will be teaching two-handed color work at the beginning of August. We're going to start promoting this really heavily in the email this week. And also I will be teaching steeking. And for those of you who are interested, I am teaching this year at Cannes, and we've just found out there's a couple of spots available should you wish to come join me at Knit August Nights. So do go check that out if you're interested. It's a great weekend away with great knitters.
And you can that'll just come up if you Google, right?
Yeah, you can just Google Knit August Nights. It's in Napier. It's a lovely time. All right. Boom. That's everything.
Yeah.
Done. High five.
Sorry, that
And we'll see you people. Yeah. We'll work on it.